Okay, welcome back everyone. I'm Thordala from Up Squad, and here we are for another settlement to begin with. So before we start, I want to go to the Smoldering City and check what kind of upgrades we can unlock, because I'm sure we can unlock a few of them. First of all, let's pick up some deeds, because they give us some experience points, etc. So we have finished our first game after the tutorial. We have traded some goods for amber. I will just go quickly through all of these because sure there are some bonuses, but mostly they're either like experience points or just cosmetic stuff. So sure, no strangers, etc. And once we're done with that, let's just take a quick look at the upgrades we'll be able to get with our much earned levels. So if we check out how much we can get, we're actually level 5, aren't we? Yeah, so those upgrades really help. But I think we'll be focusing on the upgrades that are on the lower levels. So first of all, Pioneer's Gate level 1 will give us some villager speed increase. And also quite relevant is this 1 extra embarkation point to spend on resources and bonuses before starting a new settlement. Sounds perfect. And the next one is the Obsidian Archive level 3, which will give us again 2% permanent negative 2% speed to the speed at which the Queen's impatience grows, along with the really vital aspect that we were missing in previous games is this blueprint reroll, which allows us to pay amber to reroll blueprints offered as reputation bonuses. Let's unlock this one as well. Then the Monastery of the Vigilant Flame level 2 will give us permanent 2% reduction to fuel consumption, so we will not be burning as many logs as we were before. And this is also a brilliant upgrade, so we will be able to choose one additional option when picking cornerstones at the beginning of each year. And the last one on this row at least is that First Dawn Headquarters. You gain a permanent 1% boost to the global chance of producing double ELs. And the special bonus is that you gain 10% more citadel resources whenever you finish the settlement. We still have a little bit of food stockpiles remaining for at least 2 more upgrades. And I think we'll focus on making the Queen a little bit less impatient. So we will get additional negative 2% to the speed of her impatience growth. But in addition to that, we will have additional blueprint choice, which means that you can choose whenever you can choose from blueprints. You'll get one additional option there. Let's unlock this one. And now it gets a little bit trickier because we get into the trading aspect. For example, Team Square level 1 would allow the traders to arrive quicker, 3% quicker actually. But the main thing here is that we will be able to start establishing trade routes with other nearby settlements. And this is a moneymaker in the long run. I don't think we even need to check out the other options because this will be the one that we need. Okay. Let's get back on the map and see what's waiting for us in terms of the next settlement. So we will be able to hopefully try to do the bronze seal in this run. But before we get there, we have to successfully finish one more settlement. And this coral forest that I'm pointing at is probably the best place for it. Now, when it comes to the settlement name, then we have the perfect option. Chosen by the Up Squad Council, by the way, so Thordala and Elinza. And in honor of the current ongoing March month, and just having some wordplay included in it, we'll call it Marchmellow. We will keep the Viceroy difficulty for this bronze seal run, and we'll consider the other options later on. Prestige 1 is already unlocked, but let's keep it consistent for the time being. Now, if we take a look at what caravan options we have, then we have either the choice of 5 beavers and 3 humans, along with 2 random additional villagers. They would also bring us a bunch of tools, which is a very juicy option. Or the other option is actually 6 harpies along with 2 additional villagers. I really like the beaver and human combination, plus it's a little bit more villagers right off the bat, so more workers and hopefully a faster win. Now if we take a look at the summary of the map, then it's important to pay attention to the fact that there is an average amount of soil. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And when we take a look at the conditions, then the trees are really important here because they also give incense, which can be used to solve a bunch of glade events. So we'll be trying to pursue some of these before we open up a dangerous glade if possible. And again, there is no clay on this map, so stone will be our main resource that we can discover, but that will also help us open up the caches if we don't have tools for the caches. Now, let's choose the resources we want to bring along to our journey. I believe we can probably pick the food options first, because food is always a problem as we've seen from the previous runs. But that leaves us with 2 extra embarkation points. And most likely we'll go with stone, because this will allow us to, in emergency situations, open up some caches. Or just prepare some bricks that we might need for other buildings on the way. So, Marchmellow, Viceroy difficulty, let's go. And if we take a look at the forest mysteries, then the ones we got here is that at hostility level 2, there is no contact. This means that harsh weather conditions make it impossible to reach the citadel. Gaining reputation doesn't lower impatience. So we have to keep that in mind to time our reputation gains a little bit if possible. Then starting from hostility level 3, there is rot from the sky, meaning that global food production is slowed by 15% per hostility level. This can get into the levels of not being able to produce any food during the storm. On the same hostility level, we also get the cold front, and villagers with this effect have a 20% chance of destroying the yield with each production cycle. And in order to prevent it, we need to have both the complex food and the clothing needs met. Now, the last but not least, at hostility level 4, we get hit by this nauseating spores, meaning that time between breaks is reduced by 33% for villagers with this effect. I must say that's not as bad of a high level hostility forest mystery, so we'll hopefully not lose any villagers due to this one. Now, let's get started. First things first, we need to set up our road network and make everything a smooth operation. So let's just put some roads over this side. Also everywhere around the hearth, because the villagers will be taking their breaks over there. If you take a look at what we have in terms of the starting resources, then there is some potential for meat and leather, and also some stones. And that seems to be pretty much it. Oh, add some accidental roads here. Let's get rid of them quickly before anyone notices. So some paths also behind the warehouse. This will be also a busy place where all the villagers will be delivering stuff or taking stuff from. Okay, this looks nice, right? I will also close the trade notes notification because we'll see soon what they mean for us in terms of gameplay. Now, we definitely need some woodcutter camps because they are the engine for our village. And we need to pick in which directions we are going to be cutting towards. So the closest dangerous glade is to the west of us. And all the others are a bit further away. Now remember, we also noticed that there is this option for getting incense from the trees. This kind of makes me want to go towards the east actually, even though the dangerous glade is a little bit further, but it will give us potentially the materials we need in order to solve this event that is waiting for us. So let's do that. Let's put the woodcutters camps nearby the east side of our Marchmellow village. Also, let's see which villagers we got. So we got perfectly like 6 beavers. We want to switch the human to be the person managing the ancient hearth and the fuel there, so that the queen's impatience grows even slower. Now, if you take a look, it's growing at a rate of 0.17 per minute, which is quite brilliant. Now, the next things we might want to do is we also will toggle off to not use any of the vital resources for fueling the hearth. So logs are the only valid option for the time being. We do have some biscuits that we want to keep for rougher times, so let's turn them off as well. All the other goods, we don't have them anyway, so let's leave them as they are. Now, what else we might be including here is... Okay, first of all, beavers, please do your thing. I am trusting the game to kind of assign all the beavers to the woodcutter huts. Yeah, that's good. Woodcutter camp, sorry. And going from here, we still have 3 available workers. And I believe the usual choice, we want to go for 1 crude workstation. Let's switch it around a little bit, so less walking path to take for whoever is taking stuff from it or to it. And probably we want to also start grabbing this food over here, because hunger will approach quickly. Even though we have a bunch of food like eggs and meat and roots. But looks like our setup is done. But let's let the villagers do their thing. In the meantime, we can check what is the first blueprint choice that we can face here. So stamping mill is something that would be nice if we get our biscuits and cookie production or pie production going again. Of course, carpenter will provide us an option for tools. We can get the whole chain going. Lumberville is excellent from making planks out of very few logs, so that's actually right the first thing on my mind right now. Plus there is this distillery giving us access to ale, incense and pickled goods. So probably we'll be considering between the last 2. But let's give it a little bit of time to settle. Let's see what the game brings us and react accordingly. Now, if we want to guide the woodcutters a little bit, we should probably have them go before opening up the glade. Yeah, let's actually make it so that they do not open it up accidentally. Let them just go towards the trees that give us also this incense, potentially. Now we also get our first cornerstone choice. So, first of all, meat production can be increased by 1 every 25 times it's produced. Or, porridge production increases by 1 for every 150 units of drizzle water produced. Or the last option, gain 40 meat every time a villager dies or leaves. Now we want to avoid cannibalism, so let's rather focus on the first 2 options. And from here, I do tend to go towards the meat specialization, because we are gathering meat from the nodes right now, and I'm hoping we get more of them. Then again, this 10 amber might give us way better options than we currently have on the table. For example, helping us solve the first dangerous glade. Yeah, let's just take the amber. Not the best cornerstone options ever, but it's okay. We'll manage regardless. So the 3 available workers probably want 1 lizard to start doing stuff in the food workstation. And let's have 1 human. Actually, the lizard seems to be really good with the meat, remember. So never mind, I'm gonna switch it around. So the lizard will be doing stuff in the... Well, picking up the meat from the small trappers camp. While the human will be doing the planks, etc. So I will allow everything to be crafted. We want 30 planks in stock. And actually, let's just assign 30 for all of these resources. And maybe let's leave the pipes out for the time being, as maybe in this run we will not be using the pipes anyway. Now let's increase the path length here so the woodcutters do less running and more chopping. See, some people are already taking vacations. It feels like we just started. It's been like a minute or two, but they're already snacking and looking at fire. Well, it's their own personal fireplace. Not personal, I guess, community fireplace, but it's a lovely one anyway, like a huge one. Now, how are we doing? Do we already have some incense? I don't think so. And probably they will pop up here. There might be some incense within the woodcutters' camps. But no, I guess they just started cutting down the trees that give the incense. And it's only at 20% rate. Meaning that not that often it's gonna happen. Now the first dangerous glade will try to open each one. Unless they're two easy ones. Then we'll do one dangerous glade at well, close to the end of the first storm. And like that with every storm. This should give us enough time to prepare to resolve the event itself. And also not too much time to deal with the hostility that we gain from it during the storm itself, so reducing the chance of people leaving. Okay, so seems like all the infrastructure is there. We will also be building some shelters before the storm hits, so we can get some extra resolve. So we have 10 villagers. We'll make at least 4 or rather 5 shelters for them. Okay, now no incense yet, but 2 incense here, so that's like maybe 10% out of what we might need for the dangerous glade. And also once we open it up, there are some extra trees that we can grab from the northern part of it. The glade, I mean. Now, I will pause again. We're in the clearance season, but we also got access to the orders. So let's see what we have on the table. First of all, if we were to sacrifice 5 of our tools, which sounds fishy, then we could get access to some parts, fabric and bricks. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather have us cut through the forest and discover 4 glades, so it would give us additional capacity when carrying items to the glade events, and also 10 bricks and 10 planks. Yeah, that sounds like a perfect option. Then the next choice is between big delivery and amber trade. Immediately I noticed that this big delivery would give us access to +1 plank production, which is huge. Also some crates of bricks and boxes of tools. And if I were to focus more on the trade aspect, then after sacrificing 7 amber and also selling goods worth at least 12 amber to the traders, we could get access to the tools, some wildfire essence and 2 additional villagers. Now I must say this is an even tougher choice than before. And if we were to pick one option, I would lean towards this long-term gain, which is extra plank production. Actually, no. You know, let's switch around. Let's do amber trade, because the plank production should be good anyway if we pick the carpenter. And the third choice we get is between, again, producing a bunch of stuff in the makeshift post and gaining either mold supply, fabric production and parts, or focusing on the salt instead and getting salt production, some sea marrow to potentially open caches again, and parts. We'll be dealing with trade anyway, so let's rather pick this one that gives us more long-term benefits. Okay, off we go again. So clearance season of the first year. We can see that the lone builder is doing his contribution in order to prepare for the storm. Hopefully we can build enough houses, but right now we wouldn't be hit by too many forest mysteries anyway. One thing we haven't checked yet is this good mystery, so We actually have access to sun festivities, which means that villagers with this effect have a 20% chance of doubling, 20% chance of extra of doubling the yield with each production cycle. Okay, and we need complex food needs to be fulfilled for this to trigger potentially. Sounds good. Now the blueprint choice. Since we are waiting here anyway, I will let the game run in the background. I would really like for us to start making lots of planks. And this lumber mill is in my... oh, well, my first choice most likely. But we can't even make it because we don't have any fabric at all at the moment. So we could probably get some fabric. Let's just check what we need for the fabric itself. So we need either algae, plant fiber, or reed. So it seems like everything that will happen once we get to open up the first glade, because if it has some sort of obviously good resources or even buildings to guide us a little bit in the game, then that would make things much clearer. So we have 2 shelters up and running. The human builder is probably very tired at this point. Can't imagine building so many houses during one, well, let's call it summertime. Should be clearance season, but it's not very clear. It's actually raining all the time. Yeah, we can see, because we're not giving the humans the cookies they really like. They're a little bit unhappy. But soon the storm time will come and maybe you'll get lucky during this storm and get some extra cookies. So let's shift the woodcutters a little bit closer to the glade, so they can focus on the right trees to take down. And if my mathematics is correct, let's check. We have 6 incense already in the storage. And nothing else actually within the woodcutters camp, so that's basically all we have. But still, we don't need more than 20 or 30, I believe, so hopefully we'll make it. One thing that we'll be doing is we'll also be building the trade station to the new glade, just to have it a little bit out of the way and not hog up space, even though moving it around is cheap. I mean, it's free. As cheap as it can be. Now I can already hear the sounds of the first storm approaching. Let's hope it'll be a gentle one. At the moment we're at hostility level 1, which we would make easily. And also everybody has housing now, so +3 resolve for each species. Now this beaver is dangerously close to opening up the small glade there, but I know they will not do it unless we give the command. Okay, so here we go. I don't think we need to do anything at the beginning of the storm. We just have a automatic pause. We'll just let it go and let's see how the resolve reacts. And if we need to do anything. Okay, so the lizards are a little bit upset. And they're not even the ones that want to have cookies. I'm just curious, does it affect them? Well, no, actually it doesn't affect them that they don't get cookies, so not much to do about it. But we might change things around so that we'll favor the lizards and give cookies to others, so they'll also be happy. This is a bit of a surprise. One more thing we can do is just change up the human to be a... well, swap around the human and the lizard to have the lizard give us +1 resolve. Ah yeah, and of course, forgot about the park. So if we build the park here, we'll also get 1 extra resolve. So much resolve on the table. Let's grab it all. Now the storms themselves go past really fast in the Viceroy difficulty, because only in Prestige 1 will they double their length, I believe. And once we get to around, like, I guess, let's say 30 seconds before the end of the storm, we'll tell the woodcutters to start doing their thing. Cut open the first dangerous glade. Now, please do finish up this park so we get a better idea of what's going on with our lizard folk. We should make it go only until -1, but since the storm is lasting only so little time, they will none of the lizards. Well, we only have one lizard, but it will not leave us. Don't worry. Okay, woodcutters, this is your moment to shine. Please fell all trees, and let's see what awaits us. It's one of the more exciting times for a game to see what kind of horrors and also good things you can get from a dangerous glade. It's a bit worse with forbidden glades because quite often it bites you back more than you can be prepared for in a specific game. Okay, so the lizard is already showing its temper, and the woodcutters are about to reveal what's waiting for us here. Okay. First of all, the good news. We see our favorite termite burrow glade event again, which will potentially give us a lot of insects, I believe. Was it right? But this does presume that we would use either parts or tools to finish the event. Yeah, okay, so we will have to hope for the trader to give us some tools potentially. There is also a medium abandoned cache that gives us some flour, clay, and vials of dye. There's actually 2 medium abandoned caches, and one of them gives us additional capacity for glade events. Not bad. And of course we were looking for this reed field because we don't have access to fabric at the moment, and it's something that we can use to make it out of. Okay, but before we continue, cornerstone selection. Oh no, woodcutter prayer, but this is so perfect choice. Yeah, it's just if we take a look at our options, then economic migration is probably too early for this one. Protected trade would decrease our hostility by 15 points every time we sell goods worth of 30 amber, but complex food needs grant 1 less resolve point. Yeah, this trading in the wood that we have for extra wood production is the way to go. We have only like 35 wood anyway, so it's not that big of a loss. Let's take it. We also have additional villagers wanting to join our settlement, and we will gladly take the ones that bring 1 tool with them. Also 2 potteries, but that's not so important. Now let's build this trading post somewhere in this glade so that it doesn't exactly interrupt us in terms of the city planning aspect. But having this burrow here means that we don't really need the incense as we were planning to use. But we might use the parts. Well, we're just missing 1 tool, so let's just take a look at what the trader will offer us. Maybe it's the right thing, and we have 10 amber to buy at least 1 tool. It's probably more like several tools. But first of all, the builders need to build it right. Now we have 3 available builders, and we are lacking the production for fabrics. So I'm thinking we also make a harvester camp right here, so that this lone human can also produce, in addition to planks and bricks. Well, actually they cannot even make bricks, I guess, anyway. Do we have some in the storage? Yeah, we have 4 bricks, 4 planks, and 4 fabric, by the way. Oh. I guess I was misled a little bit because I thought we didn't have any fabric at all. Okay, but who will be picking up the reed? I guess we'll let humans handle that production chain. Now, we might also need a stone cutter. For that, we will set up a stone cutter's camp, and another human will be taken charge when it comes to managing the stonecutters camp. Oh, we accidentally stopped the building of the trading post because one of those humans was taking care of it. Now, the woodcutter camp seems to be a bit out of control because they're trying to go into the small glade up there. We will have them avoid glades for a little bit. And also let them cut the trees more to the west side of our camp if we can. Actually, we cannot really because we're a little bit stuck. But it's okay, we'll make it slowly towards the right direction. So right now, please, woodcutters, get rid of these trees over here. And maybe, yeah, let's move the small trappers camp so we can move them a little bit closer towards their destination. So initially there will be one woodcutters camp that's close enough to the southern trees, but later there will be enough space for the other one as well. Okay, fingers crossed everyone, because this termite burrow is just such an amazing source for food. Let me just double check. Okay, it's the same one. There aren't several types of them. So 5 insects per minute will solve a lot of our potential food problems in the future. And the trader is on their way, and Zorg is coming to visit us. And guess what he brings? Quite often. Cooked and raw food, pottery, and tools. Yeah, lovely. Let's see. How much time is remaining? Okay, 57 seconds. We can wait that long, right? Because we have more than 6 minutes until we'll be a little bit on the edge when it comes to resolving this dangerous glade event.